Hey there, mgtow. It's Muslim mgtow again. It's been a long time since I did a video, but I have a reason for doing the video today. And the question was asked to be, what does it mean to be red-pilled? Red-pilled means that, well, first and foremost, red pill, taking a red pill, is a Matrix reference for the movie The Matrix. You take the red pill, you come with us and you see what life really is. You take the blue pill, you wake up tomorrow in your trance, keep living your life, and you're going to forget all about us. Now, what does that have to do with mgtow? Because mgtow are men who have seen the truth about female nature. Usually, most mgtow happen to be true force loneliness characters. True force loneliness guys, which is me. I'm one of those guys. True force loneliness guy. Where you were looking for a relationship, usually for years, and every time you talk to a woman and use the crap that you were taught as a child, you know, be nice, be gentle, be a gentleman, but also, you know, be yourself. None of that seemed to work out for you. Whenever you went to go talk to one of these queens and goddesses, especially in the black community. Most mgtow who know anything about mgtow will tell you that the original mgtow was the black man. Why? Because of the welfare state. Black men were getting kicked out of their homes left and right with that they had with their woman, because those women wanted a paycheck that came from the government, which really means men. So they still wanted the utility that men offered them without giving back to the men what the only thing that she really has to offer, which is her body. So taking the red pill is an entire lifestyle, you know. It means that you will not allow women to play their mind games on you. They won't be able to trick you, say some shit to you that you knew in your heart beforehand made no sense, but you never said a thing about it. You didn't say anything about it because you were so whipped by some pussy that you didn't even get. But it also means living life on your own terms. If you're, you know, one thing I remember when I was coming up as a little boy, how girls used to call the guys who play video games dorks and losers. And now, see, a lot of those guys who played video games since they was a kid now are in major league gaming leagues, making $1 million for winning tournaments. Maybe not millions for every game that they play, but you know, they're getting $1,000 every time they pick up a controller and play a game, making a good living off of beating people in Smash Brothers and all kinds of console games. Well, now they don't think you're a dork anymore, because now you're making money off of something. Now they want to get in on it, you know. And then it just calls to my attention this whole Gamergate thing, where they want to have more female representation in video games, which is stupid to me, because women, by and large, are not the biggest buyers of video games in the first place. It's men who buy video games. Boys who buy video games more so than girls and women. Like right now, I got an uncle who's 50. He just got an Xbox One X. You know, he been playing Xbox One, Xbox 360, Xbox, PlayStation 2. He played all that shit. You know, we got a wife and kids, but still, you know. It's also realizing, however, because I'm done with that last point, You can expound upon it however you like to in your own conversations with whoever you're around. But it's also, damn, I just had the point too. Well, I'll just continue going on living life on your own terms. You know? That's why a lot of mgtow nowadays are looking at sex bots, because with the sex bot, you pay less than you would actually pay. Because I'm one of those guys who paid upwards of $10,000 to hang out with women, just to spend some time with them, you know, and to have them, the same woman who I thought was a good girl. Thought she was a good girl. She go to college, you know, she's got vocabulary, and then you see her next week after you tried to talk to her and she said, I'm not looking for anybody. You see her next week with a thug ass nigga. It's good, Rudy. I'm sure with the thug. Hey, what's up, baby doll? Love your hair. I've been looking at that girl for a while. I think she's 19 now. I've been waiting for her. Shoot, she always thought I was cute, but I'm in the middle of something right now. But I ain't seen her in a couple years, so I know she. Last time I seen her, I had talked to her. She said she was 17. That was like 2 years ago. So she got to be like 18, 19 now. She definitely got to. But yeah, man, living life on your own terms, man. That's why a lot of mgtow are getting these sex bots, so that they can, just like women have done with men, replaced men's utility with police, a girlfriend with a strap on, the government. See, they need all of that. They need protection. Oh, that's right. That's the point I was going to get onto. The value that you have towards women. But I'll get to that point in a second. Since they replaced you with all of these different things, these different outlets, they don't need you as men anymore. They don't need you for anything. They only need you if you're the alpha male, you're funny or exciting, or, you know, you got money. If you got money, more money than what the government is offering, then they'll take you. And even with that, they'll take you for a time being. They'll get pregnant by you when you don't want a child, and you, as a man who's a mgtow, realizes, because most men aren't mgtow, they don't realize that you have no rights when it comes to the court. When it comes to those women, when it's you versus her, she's got all the rights. It's her body, her right, right? So she could have a baby whether you want it or not. And if you don't want the baby, if you do want the baby, she can abort the baby. Or if y'all not married, she could just, after she have the baby, go to the freaking police station or the fire station or the church or the hospital and just drop the baby off. No questions, none of that. Okay? So that's another thing that we as mgtow recognize, that we don't have any rights when it comes to this court system, and it pertains to her versus us. Right. The last thing is recognizing as a man what your value is to women. It's the men who build the bridges. It's the men who are in the mines, mining coal, and the ones that are putting their lives on the line in the military. It's the men who are in the or the ones who's getting the gas, you know, taking crude oil and turning it into gas, and then making it into making the waste product into plastic. It's the men who do all the heavy work. And that brings me to my next point. We also realize as mgtow and those that are red-pilled that women, and you know, because there are MRAs, and MRAs are red-pilled as well, they're just not mgtow. You can be mgtow and MRA, however. You can be both. But there's a distinction between the two. But what we've realized as MRAs and mgtows, those of us who are red pilled, is that the women claim that they want equality. But whenever the opportunity presents itself to be equal, they want to be victims. For instance, if a woman puts her hands on you, right? If we're equal, if she puts her hands on you, you should be able to put your hands back on her. And in the instance where you decide to put your hands on her first, she should be able to put her hands back on you and there not be a police involvement. Just like if it was the other way around. If she put her hands on you and if people see it, no one's gonna call the police. Is what I'm talking about. That's what I mean by equality. So, as my man Tommy Sotomayor says, if women deserve equal rights, then they deserve equal lefts. If women claim that they want to be treated equal, then when the opportunity presents itself to work in those jobs where 95% of the fatalities are men, like mining and skyscraper building and bridge building and all that shit, where some heavy ass metal could fall on you and drop you all the way down to 100 stories down, there should be women lining up for those jobs too. But they don't, because they don't want true equality with you. They want equality to a point, and then when they get to that point, then they want superiority, while at the same time utilizing you as a man to make that happen for them. Which brings me to my last point. Those of us that are red-pilled, we realize that it's men who generally make all the shit that women want happen. If women wanted to vote and no men were for it, then women wouldn't have had the right to vote. If women wanted, what's up, bro? Equality with men beyond the voting, jobs and all that shit, then, and men said, nah, we don't want that. After we just we said we didn't want to give them the right to vote. If we said those two things, then as a whole, like women do, because women operate in something called groupthink. When one of them when one of them wants something, they all want it. So women, if we had said to women when they had asked for the right to vote or they asked for equality, and we said no, as men, 80% of us said no, then they would have never got it. But all they need is 50% of the men to say it. They say yes. If they get 50% of the men, and they can, because they can use their bodies to influence us to do whatever they want us to do, then it'll end up happening, because they have men's support, men's money, men's power and status. See, women never ever needed their own status, because it's like the analogy my boy Patrice O'Neill said. He said the King of England. If the King of England marries a woman, he raises that woman up to the queen. But if the Queen of England marries a man, he's not the king. He's the queen's bitch. See? Men raise women's status just by being with them. Women don't raise a man's status just by him being with her. And that's a whole nother point for a whole nother day. But the point is, the things that women want, it only will happen if men give it to them, if men kowtow. So, that's all I have to say for today. Thank you for listening, mgtow. Like and subscribe if you can. I'm sure you can. You didn't click on this video with no fingers. So, click on this the like button, subscribe to my channel. All right. Because a red pill a day will keep the naggy, unred-pilled women who want everything away. So enjoy the rest of your day. This has been Muslim mgtow, and I'm finished with you.